All right, folks, back on the Bossman Show, friend of the show, Coach Travis DeCuire with me on the Bossman Show. Montana Grizzlies out of the Big Sky Conference. Coach looking good over there in the background. All them cameras in the background behind Coach. You see him? Hey, Coach, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great, doing great. I'm trying to find a new way to get some more of these.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Coach, I must ask you, man, can you believe this? You go into your 10th season already being head coach at Montana?
No, it they say time flies when you're having fun. I just think time flies no matter what.
Yeah. Yeah, you got that right, man. And, in this business that you're in and that I've been a part of for years, 10 years is a long time to stand in one place. Talk about the administration and the people at the support staff who helps you because his business is fickle. Some guys get 2 years, some guys get three at max. You've gotten 10, but you've won as well. But talk about that process as well, coach.
No, it's difficult. I think, in my years as an assistant coach, right? I was 11 years as a Division One assistant coach on the East Coast in the CAA and on the West in the Pac-12, and you see a lot of good coaches come and go, and a number of reasons, right? Obviously, losing does it, but even the ones that have won and created new expectations for themselves and their programs, and then being asked to live up to that standard that they set, and the game changes, the industry changes, college athletics change, probably as much these last 3 years as it had in the 20 years prior. So it's difficult, and I think the most important piece is to surround yourself with good people and people that have common goals and common values as you. For me here, administration's been great. The community's been great. I played here. So I think I had pretty good feel going into this of what it takes to grow support and get the community behind you, but also the type of student athletes that you got to bring into a place like this to have success. So it's been a group effort, and I'm very appreciative of the support I've had from the president. I've had three presidents in my time here, really, but also my athletic director and the other associate ads that helped me, make my dreams and aspirations come true.
And what's great, coach, about it, you're good in football, you're good in men's basketball, so it all kind of translates to the community getting involved and getting that brand out there because the football team is doing great, you're doing great. Talk about how Montana's becoming more of a national brand as I just like Montana. Like, people know Montana's about winning, whether it be football or men's basketball.
No, we've got a women's basketball coach that really should be in the Hall of Fame. Is probably more wins than any coach that's not in the Hall of Fame. And I was here in the early 90s as a player, and I remember sellout crowds, men and women. Volleyball had it rocking. And then shortly after I graduated in 94, football wins a national championship, and then the evolution of the athletic department began. And so upon my return 20 years later, you're looking at three or four programs that expect to win championships every year, at least compete for them. And so it's been special to be a part of.
And coach, I'm asking you is for you with the NIL and portal has allowed you to get your hands on better high school players or better JUCO guys where the Power Five schools are not looking at those guys. They want a certain type of guy, but you're able to get those JUCO guys for 2 or 3 years remaining, and those high school guys will get overlooked because they want more of a non
You got
commodity.
we got to keep that a secret.
Oh, okay, I got you.
No, I feel that we have action at guys that may or may not be overlooked. I think we've got a couple really good freshmen this year that, in my opinion, could easily have been recruited Mountain West, Missouri Valley. And some of those schools looked at them, but they decided not to move. And when you look at what they took, instead, it was transfers. And I just think that nationally, everyone's trying to stay older. And I think that it's a lot easier when you have NIL money to recruit out of the portal. But for me, I honestly believe that if you recruit young men that you can't get a peer evaluation of and get to know, you can make a lot of mistakes. And I think COVID really showed that. We really had this thing going in the right direction. And then with COVID recruiting, some things just didn't fit. Some pieces didn't fit. The culture went the wrong direction. So it took us a couple of years to get it back to where we had it. And I feel we're there now. And so for me, yeah, the answer is yes. I think we do have an opportunity to pursue high school kids that we may not have or may just not have is a higher level of competition for those kids, and it's more like opponents for those kids. And so we'll continue to recruit high school kids. We've got 4 seniors on our team, and in a perfect world, we'll sign 4 high school kids and then replace transfers with transfers.
100%. And coach, like you said, man, I feel like getting to know somebody, building that relationship with them and their parents, not over a Zoom call or a phone call, but having that face-to-face touch point really helps you. Because even with me, and I evaluate interns, it was hard for me doing interns over Zoom for my show.
Right.
But getting to know these interns personally now, I can pick the right people because people can present themselves on a Zoom call a certain way, but in real life, they're really not what they present on Zoom call. So I'm with you. And I feel like in this time, coach, where these guys kind of poach your guys to play for them, you have to kind of re-recruit your guys, but you to bond with them. They love the culture. I'm likely to stay and leave and not take that quick money and get burned on the back end. But then I might sit on the bench at a Power 5 school.
Right. There's a lot of guys getting paid to watch games. And you know, I always believe time spent, right, tells a tale about anyone, any individual or a family. The thing for us when we've been successful is we recruited guys from our backyard that we had prior relationships with their community, right? Whether that's their AU coaches, their high school coaches, and maybe sometimes even their parents. You know, as we all get older in this game, there's more and more student athletes that are raised by, you know, parents that are my age. But I think it's important to spend some quality time with people, get them to campus, because at the end of the day, you know, a lot of coaches make promises they can't keep, and I really don't believe in that. I'm a promise to graduate your son if they're here. They put a jersey on as a senior, 100% I'm going to graduate. I can promise that this environment, this atmosphere is going to be incredible. We'll treat them like family. And the rest they kind of have to make happen, right? We're going to put our best foot forward and try to develop them and put them in position to be successful. But if they don't put that extra work in and that time in, a lot of the dreams and aspirations they have for themselves won't come true. And the other thing is adversity is always going to hit. Every student athlete goes through some sort of adversity. Yes. And so the biggest, you know, issue is when you don't have relationships with their people, you can't get them through the things that are tough for them. You know, between 18 and 22, they don't know how to problem solve, and it's getting worse with social media and phones and things like that. And so they need our help more than they ever have. And I just think we lose sight of that.
And Coach DeCuire, I think this is also what you said is important because I know for me, I'm almost 40 now. And things I was told at Tennessee State by my coaches, it makes sense to me now as almost a 40-year-old. I think because at 18 and 22, I was like, man, whatever. But now I say I apologize for not listening to you then. But now being an adult, have my own business, trying to make money on my own every day, man, it's like things you said to me really resonates to me now, almost 40 and where it didn't I was 18, 20 years old.
Yeah, we hear that a lot, man. And it's unfortunate, but it's fortunate. It's natural, right? It's the same thing with your parents. You know, I didn't think my parents were right about everything that came up, especially things that were hard. And so what I saw, you know, at other places, I thought might be a better situation for me or a better answer in terms of how to progress through adversity. I tell my guys a lot, you know, you might just like me right now. You'll love me later when you go through some experiences that will help you appreciate what I am doing. And that's when you have children, and that's when you have real responsibilities and you have to pay bills, and you don't just wake up in the morning and have a check in the mail from an athletic department or, you know, a direct deposit from an athletic department called scholarship. There's going to be a point in time where you're going to have to go out and clock in. At least most of these guys, a few of them will be professional athletes, but even then, there's a level of responsibility. Some of these guys get sent home from playing places, and the light comes on, and they realize that accountability is real. And it's unfortunate that most of them don't learn that until they leave, because the most important thing for them is their dream, right? How much playing time, how many shots they get. And it's unfortunate, but that's what we're here for.
And Coach, I really wish I had a plan while I was playing ball, but I didn't have a plan. I thought I was going to play the NFL. I got cut 3 times, right? And just so happened the radio thing happened for me. But I'll say that if I didn't get my degree in business, like the football, basketball part, that's easy. I played it. I know about back sports. But the off the air, handling business, accounting, if I didn't go get my degree in business, my MBA, I would be screwed. So I told any young man, even though I didn't have a plan per se while I was in college, the degrees I got helped me right now in what I do every day.
Right. It look, when you have a diploma, you've proven that you can finish something that you started, that you actually can sustain a commitment to something. It's not always easy. And for us here, we try to take another step with that and encourage internships, work experience. I think as a student athlete, for me back in the day when there weren't time limitations, um, there wasn't enough time to do that. It was the most important thing, and the focus was working on your craft and you know, and if you had extra time, it was for study hall to pass your classes, but it was never really work experience in your field. And I think it's important. And for us, it's worked out that, you know, the large percentage of our guys that don't play professional basketball have left here employed. No, none of them want to talk about that though, right? Nobody wants to hear that. And so you just got to find ways. You talk about, you know, after you're done playing football, whether it's 2 years from now or 20 years from now, there's going to be a day. And when
Yes.
that day comes, what's your transition look like? And you just use that as the carrot. And for some of them, they'll realize going in their senior year that they probably, this might be their last season. And then they have those things in their back pocket.
And Coach DeCuire, let me ask you this: for your young men this summer in their workouts, who are some young men who want to highlight who really grew as players this summer, and really somebody you're looking forward to seeing as fall starts here real soon and get ready for no November 6th here?
You know, we had quite a few guys improve quite a bit. I think it was one of our most competitive summers. You know, our freshman class, we had some young guards come in and really push our upperclassmen guards. And so it's going to be interesting to see how those minutes play out. You know, a young man by the name of Deshaun Thomas for us, transferred from Colorado State, and we kind of put him in a role that he wasn't necessarily comfortable with last year, but that was important for his future if he wanted to continue to play basketball. I think he embraced it this summer. I think he embraced it on both sides of the ball, and so I look forward to him executing it when it's against someone that doesn't wear the same colors as us. Laulu Oki, a D2 transfer that was a phenomenal defender, rebounder at the D2 level. Hit a wall early in his transfer last year as a junior. I think has really grown over the summer. But some of that started with the tail end of the season last year with opportunities and things like that. So I think our front line got better. We got a young freshman by the name of Money Williams that won a state championship at Oakland. Went to Oakland High School, same high school as Damon Lillard. He really hit the ground running. I wouldn't say that he was the most improved guy over the summer. I think he was the most impactful guy this summer. And so those three really jump out. And then the rest of our upperclassmen are pretty steady Eddie, right? Some of them didn't have a lot of room for growth, just, you know, going into year 4, year 5. But I think we improved our depth with our transfer recruits. I think we got a little tougher with our transfer recruits. And so, you know, we're going to create some expectations for ourselves this year.
Coach DeCuire, as you all prepare for November 6th, that how you gonna kind of play? Are you gonna do like? I know you have still some talent limitations still, but how do you see yourself going about trying to just run up to November 6th, kind of go between team drills versus still doing skill work for guys and still trying to, you know, get it balance just right between individual and team stuff as you get ready to go into November here?
You got to make time. You know, I think, you know, for us, we're going 4 days a week. Rather than use all of our 4 hours, we save anywhere for 60 to 90 minutes for skill work, whether that's individual or groups. We're doing some group work in our team deals as well. But when you have as many new faces as I have, you can't ignore the team concepts because that's where you really win games, right? Especially on the defensive side of the ball. So just trying to balance it. Right now, it's about a 50-50 split in terms of player development and team concepts, terminologies, and things like that on both sides of the ball. As we progress and we start our first official practice on the 26th of September, you got more time. And then at that point, it probably becomes about a 70-30 split with team to individual stuff. But you always have extra time to come in the mornings and in the evenings to get individual work. I do think it's important to improve throughout the year, and film doesn't lie. So once you start playing games, I think that's your best opportunity for growth, because you can show guys on film what it looks like and where their success is and where their failures are. And let's work on those failures and play to the successes. I believe that guys that play to their strengths win a lot of games, and so that's really the thing we try to push for.
And coach, I know your birthday coming up here in November, man. So I hope you get the win for your birthday for sure coming up here. And also, coach, I'm asking you, man, like when you're not coaching, doing great job, you know what I mean? Like, how do you decompress? I know, like for me, this is big for me. I'm big on that, trying to get away from the radio a little bit and decompress. So, how do you decompress when you're not at the school with these young men coaching them up, man?
Family. When I'm in town with the guys, it's sharing my family with them, time together as a group, but a lot of time with my household. And anytime I get breaks, long weekends or August vacation time, things like that, I go home to Seattle, spend a lot of time with my, the larger piece of my family. But really, it's family. I just think that that's the best way to decompress, because that's really your stability.
Now, coach, are you excited for your Seahawks this year, man? Being from Seattle, are you excited for those Seahawks this year, man?
I am. They worked under the radar last year. I think that's when it's the most fun, when nothing's expected of you and you overachieve. Now, obviously, there's going to be some expectations for that team a little more this year, but I'm excited to see what they get done.
Now, coach, I got one last one for you. How excited are you all in Seattle at the NBA's coming back most likely in 2 or 3 years? Because I feel like they shall flick up the Sonics. So how excited are you all to have with the Kraken now to see how they have the Mariners that having the Sonics pop coming back in 2 or 3 years, man, to boost Key Arena again?
Well, Seattle's a sports town. The demand is high for basketball. I think people that follow it closely see that with Jamal Crawford's summer league. The summer league's always been good, in terms of attendance and good players, but it's been great since the Sonics left. And I think that Jamal did a good job of embracing the absence of professional basketball and turning it into a positive for the community and sharing it with the community, right? But I think that that's a sign of what it would look like when we get a team back. So I'm excited to see it. Hopefully it's sooner than later. There's always rumors and expectations, and then things don't happen. So my fingers are crossed, but I'm not holding my breath.
Now I got one more. I got one more. Sorry, I got one more for you, coach. Now we're here a lot of the Hawks. We got Quinn Snyder, DeJounte Murray. So how much have you cross paths with Quinn and DeJounte, them both being Seattle guys?
Not a lot. I bumped into DeJounte a little bit, both from, south end of Seattle. So we know a lot of the same people. He grew up in some of the same areas I grew up. And so I followed him very closely. I actually recruited him to the University of California before realizing he really wanted to stay home, which was an incredible situation for him to be able to play for Lorenzo Romar. Quinn doesn't necessarily return as much. I think he's pretty busy in the communities that he's in. We went to the same high school, and so we share a lot of the same people as well. But cheering for both of them, enjoying the success of anybody from Washington, especially Seattle.
No doubt, coach. I definitely appreciate you coming on the show today, this morning, to chat with you, coach. I'm wishing you the best luck this year in the big sky. Hopefully, we're talking in March after you go to the big dance, man.
Let's do it. Appreciate you for having me.
Anytime, coach. Be safe, man.
You do the same.
All right.
Okay.